I'll tell you a secret, I'm not the biggest fan of the Chibnall era of Doctor Who. I don't hate it by any means, but I think that there were some serious missteps in this era. I don't mind the timeless child thing, Doctor Who canon is fluid, and there should be no limit to the potential of storytelling. And I can honestly say that the timeless child opens more possibilities for storytelling in Doctor Who than it closes, especially since the show has been somewhat restricted by Time Lord lore over the past 30 years or so, in the expanded media particularly. I have issues with the Chibnall era. I think there were too many companions at the start, I think that the characterisation of the Doctor was inconsistent, and there was too much reliance on exposition. But one aspect of Chibnall's era that I actually really like is his Dalek stories. During his 3-season era, Chris Chibnall wrote 3 Dalek episodes. All of these were New Year's specials: Resolution, Revolution of the Daleks, and Eve of the Daleks. Daleks also appeared in Doctor Who Flux, and are set to appear in the Centenary Special, but overall the 3 New Year's specials are Chibnall's main Dalek stories. Resolution, as the name implies, is the true finale of Series 11. It wraps up Ryan's subplot with his dad, galvanises the team in a way that the Battle of Ranxor Av Kolos didn't manage, and gives us a satisfying conclusion to the 13th Doctor's first series with a classic Dalek runaround. Except there's something unique about this Dalek. It starts out the episode with no casing, and has to puppeteer a human and scavenge spare parts to build itself a new casing from scratch. Once it gets its armour, however, it's a ruthless killing machine that doesn't mess around, and lays waste to a load of army men with its lasers and missiles. This is an excellent comeback for the Daleks after a wobbly run of episodes during the Moffat era. Seeing a single Dalek rise from a vulnerable mutant to a sinister puppeteer to an ingenious engineer and finally an unstoppable death machine is extremely cathartic. And the awesome action scenes of the Daleks slaughtering people made all the better by the return of the iconic extermination sound effect from Remembrance of the Daleks. The Recon Dalek is finally defeated using an improvised microwave oven device that the Doctor uses to try to cook the Dalek alive in its casing. And while the casing is destroyed, the Dalek mutant survives, and in the end the team have to shoot the thing into a star in order to destroy it. People often say that this episode did the Daleks dirty because a Dalek is defeated by primitive weapons at the beginning, but this doesn't bother me. The prelude makes it clear that the Dalek killed thousands of warriors before being taken down, and the research scene later in the episode confirms that it was eventually defeated using some kind of elaborate trap, which makes sense to me. The microwave oven thing that people like to go on about doesn't bother me either. There have been sillier ways in which Daleks have been destroyed after all. Overall, Resolution is a solid Dalek story with a great premise and some wonderful Dalek action. Revolution of the Daleks is next, and this story actually follows on from Resolution, as the remains of the destroyed Dalek casing are captured and analysed by a corporation owned by Jack Robertson from Arachnids in the UK, who starts to construct his own defence drones modelled off the Daleks. However, at the same time, the Recon Scout Dalek's DNA is recovered and cloned, accidentally reviving the dead Dalek and allowing it to infiltrate the defence drone operation. The Doctor, her friends, and returning companion Captain Jack Harkness realise that the Recon Dalek clone has created a new race of Dalek mutants using human DNA, which it transports inside the defence drones scattered across the UK. A revolution begins in which the new Daleks begin exterminating people left, right and centre, including the Prime Minister. The Doctor enacts a desperate plan to defeat the Daleks, summoning pure Daleks to Earth to wipe them out, and then wiping out the pure Daleks with a clever ploy. This story has some brilliant set pieces. The Dalek mutant factory scenes, the extermination scenes, the Dalek Civil War scenes, all of these are excellent. The design for the defence drone is a really cool reimagining of the Daleks for a one-off appearance, and the new red extermination effect is gorgeous. I also like that Nicholas Briggs voices these Daleks in a way that is similar to the Imperial Daleks from Remembrance of the Daleks. That's a nice touch. One criticism of this episode that I do think is valid is that the Death Squad Dalek leader looks exactly like the rest. The episode builds up to the appearance of the Dalek leader and he looks exactly the same as the others, which I think was a wasted opportunity. They could have had a Black Dome Dalek in there, or maybe a Red Paradigm drone, or perhaps a brand new design. Even so, the Death Squad Daleks look and sound awesome, and their ship interior is really cool. The shot of them swarming out of the ship like wasps and taking the bridge is one of the coolest scenes ever in Doctor Who in my opinion. Eve of the Daleks is Chibnall's third and final Dalek special, and it's somewhat of an oddball. It's a comedy-focused episode, which sounds like a bad idea for the Daleks, especially given Chibnall's track record with humour. I didn't even mention the Wi-Fi joke when I was talking about Resolution because I've tried my best to cleanse it from my brain. However, surprisingly, Eve of the Daleks works really well. Ailing B and John Bishop are both naturally funny, and they carry the humour in this episode, but Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker also get a fair share of the laughs. Despite the comedy-focused nature of the episode, however, the Daleks are still on top form. Chibnall really knows how to write Dalek dialogue. That goes for all his Dalek stories. There are some excellent Dalek lines throughout his era. Resolution has allocated surrender period has expired, consequence extermination. Revolution of the Daleks has there is only one purification. And Eve of the Daleks has some great ones. The Doctor will not save you, the Doctor will never save you. And also, the simple yet effective Daleks learn for the reveal of the Gatling gun stick. Speaking of the Gatling gun stick, it's awesome, and it works really well with the godly remembrance of the Daleks' extermination sound. The direction in this episode is fantastic. There are some great shots of the Daleks, like when they emerge from the shadows hiding behind Yaz and Dan. The Daleks look great in this story, whatever they're doing, whether they're exterminating people or just trundling down a corridor. But unlike a lot of Dalek stories in the Moffat era, the Daleks in Chibnall's Dalek stories always move with purpose. They don't just sit around like set dressing, they're an active force in the story. They're angry, they're resourceful, and they're dangerous, which is exactly how the Daleks should be. On the whole, I'd say Chibnall did a decent job with the Daleks. Sure, none of his Dalek episodes break into my top 5 Dalek stories, but Resolution, Revolution of the Daleks, and Eve of the Daleks are definite standouts of the Chibnall era. What do you think of Chibnall's Dalek stories? Do you disagree with my assertion that the Dalek episodes are the best thing about his era? If so, what aspects of the Chibnall era are your favourite? Let me know in the comments below.